They murdered her. That's the only word that ever feels right in my mouth when I replay the scene, the smell, the silence afterward. Big Bertha, my 8-pound bass, the one that swam to my dock every sunrise for 3 straight years, the one I talked to like an old friend while feeding her scraps of yesterday's catch, the one I watched grow from a palm-sized flicker into a legend of my 12-acre spring-fed lake. Now she was floating belly up beside a carpet of dead fish, more than 200 of them, their scales shimmering under dawn light like a mass grave glinting beneath antifreeze-colored water. And all because my HOA president, the almighty suburban tyrant known as _Evelyn Blackthorne _**, decided she owned my lake. ***. The air hit me like a punch, that sharp chemical sting of copper sulfate blended with rot, thick enough to burn my throat. I knelt at the edge, cupped Bertha's slimy body in my hands, and something inside me cracked open, a mixture of grief, fury, and the slow, electric awareness that someone had crossed a line you don't ever cross with me or my family's land. Then a thought flickered through all that rage, almost poetic in its timing. Every single house in _Ridgewell Heights ***, all 842 of them, pulled its drinking water from the same underground spring that fed my lake. ***. Evelyn hadn't just poisoned my fish. She'd poisoned her entire kingdom. And she had no clue what cosmic disaster she'd just unleashed on herself. My name's Caleb Hartman, 52 years old, retired electrician turned solar installer, born and raised in Longspur County, North Carolina, and the last person on earth who ever wanted a war with a manicured tyrant who spends more on her nails than I spend on groceries. But when you come from my land, the place my grandfather bought in 1952, the land my father raised me on, the lake that has been untouched sanctuary for 7 decades, well, then you've chosen the wrong man to provoke. Developers had tried buying me out, offering stupid money to turn Hartman Lake into a country club centerpiece. I told them to build their little clubhouse in hell. Most neighbors respected that. But 3 years ago, Evelyn Blackthorne, real estate attorney turned self-appointed despot, moved into her white marble palace on the ridge, took control of the Ridgewell Heights HOA within months, and decided the mere sight of me fishing on my own damn property offended her investment. Letters came first, threats next. Her favorite buzzwords: property value, visual uniformity, aesthetic harmony. She weaponized the vocabulary of wealthy boredom. And when that didn't scare me, she upgraded to harassment. Noise crews at 6 a.m., bogus county complaints, lawsuits over 6 inches of dock extension, and a neighborhood smear campaign painting me as the unstable swamp hermit destroying community peace. But she wasn't ready for the truth I dug up next, buried deep in the courthouse basement, hidden under 70 years of dust. My grandfather didn't just buy the land. He bought every drop of water beneath it. All water rights. Surface, subsurface, springs, tributaries. The entire aquifer feeding Ridgewell Heights. I didn't just own a lake. I owned their water supply. Every shower, every glass of water, every ice cube that clinked in their boutique cocktail parties, all of it was mine. And when Evelyn escalated from harassment to environmental terrorism, hiring a commercial firm to dump industrial-grade algae into my lake under the cover of night, she didn't just commit a felony. She poisoned her own people using water I legally controlled. That was the moment the battle stopped being petty, and something far bigger, far darker, began. The morning after the poisoning, I called Officer Raymond Holt, a 15-year veteran of the county's environmental task force. The moment I described the neon water, his voice went flat and deadly. Hazmat team arrived within the hour. Test strips turned shades of blue and purple that looked wrong, unnatural, as if the lake itself was screaming. Industrial copper sulfate, Holt said quietly, staring at the results. Whoever did this didn't want to control algae. They wanted to kill everything. And then, the kicker. This is a federal crime. While technicians suited up, I checked my phone. Mrs. Henderson across the road had caught something on her doorbell cam at 2:17 a.m. A truck, a company logo, 2 figures in hazmat suits dumping barrels into my water. Blue Cascade Environmental Services. A quick call confirmed what I already suspected. Someone had paid them in cash, claimed the lake was community property, and forged emergency paperwork. Only one person in Ridgewell Heights was arrogant enough to do that. Evelyn. But karma was already moving faster than I ever could. Within a week, parents in the subdivision posted online about metallic-tasting water. Dogs stopped drinking from bowls. Children developed stomach cramps. The HOA group chat mutated into a digital panic spiral. And Evelyn, in true politician mode, responded with a perfectly worded lie blaming seasonal mineral variations. While she smothered the truth with PR perfume, I assembled a war council. Rebecca Vale, environmental attorney famous for crushing polluting corporations. Dr. Simon Culver, hydrogeologist who could map an aquifer blindfolded. Jenna Rowe, investigative journalist who toppled 2 HOAs already. Dolores Hensley, retired county clerk with a memory sharper than barbed wire. Tom Alvarez, my longtime real estate attorney and friend. When I laid out the deed, the video evidence, and the early contamination maps, Rebecca leaned back, steepled her fingers, and whispered, "Caleb, this isn't a property dispute. This is the environmental case of the decade." Dr. Culver tested the subdivision wells. Levels were rising fast. Within 6 to 8 weeks, the entire community's water would hit EPA emergency thresholds. Meanwhile, Dolores uncovered a second bombshell. The original developer of Ridgewell Heights illegally drilled wells into my aquifer without ever purchasing the rights. For 15 years, the entire subdivision had been unknowingly stealing my water. Rebecca ran the numbers. If I enforced back payments, the HOA would owe over $30 million. But I wasn't out to destroy 800 innocent families. Only the monster who poisoned a lake out of spite. So we forged a strategy. Federal lawsuit. State criminal charges. EPA intervention. Civil damages. Embezzlement investigation. And a settlement plan protecting all homeowners except Evelyn. While we prepared the legal storm, Evelyn panicked harder. She bribed the Algaseed company to destroy records. They recorded her. She hired a PI to tail me. He got arrested trying to break into my truck. She spread defamation through fake accounts, all traced back to her IP. She tried to bribe me directly, $100,000 cash in a leather briefcase. Too bad I was wearing a wire. By the time the EPA issued an official health advisory, do not drink tap water, Ridgewell Heights was in full rebellion. Children were sick, property values collapsing, bottled water pallets stacked on driveways like fortifications. And Evelyn, she still didn't know the worst news coming for her. The Longspur Community Hall overflowed with more than 300 furious residents, reporters, EPA officials, sheriff's deputies. The whole county turned out. The air buzzed with rage, fear, humiliation, and that burnt coffee smell every community building seems cursed with. On stage, Evelyn Blackthorne, dressed like she was attending a Supreme Court hearing instead of her own downfall, clutched a stack of prepared statements. Her eyes twitched at every whisper. Her hands kept tightening around her pearls. The meeting opened with EPA findings. Copper sulfate at 4 times safe levels. Contamination spreading through the spring system, feeding every Ridgewell Heights well. Then Patricia Hale, the newly appointed HOA president, called me to the microphone. I stood before hundreds of people who once thought I was this strange fisherman at the edge of town and unfolded my grandfather's 1952 deed. The projector lit up the paragraph that ended Evelyn's life as she knew it. All water rights, surface and subsurface, to the spring system and all tributaries, in perpetuity. A collective gasp rippled through the hall. In plain English, I said, I own the aquifer beneath this subdivision. Every drop you've used for 15 years has come from my property. You owe me nothing, because I'm not charging you a cent. But she, I pointed at Evelyn, poisoned my lake and your water. Rebecca stepped forward with the legal charges. Federal environmental destruction, state illegal dumping, embezzlement, obstruction, defamation, bribery. Then the sheriff walked toward the stage. Evelyn went pale, lips trembling. "This is a conspiracy," she screeched, voice cracking. "He poisoned his own lake to frame me." The deputy read the warrant, handcuffed her, led her past the cameras filming every second of her unraveling. The hall erupted, shouting, relief, sobbing, demands for justice. But the rage shifted away from me, toward her, toward the truth. I stepped back to the mic. I'm offering the subdivision a settlement, full environmental restoration funded through insurance and Evelyn's restitution, no water rights back payments, and oversight protections so this never happens again. Silence. Then applause. Then a wave of gratitude so strong it nearly buckled my knees. 6 months later, I stood on my rebuilt dock as native fish fingerlings returned to clear blue water. The lake smelled clean again, mineral-rich, sweet, alive. Children from Ridgewell Heights cast lines beside me, laughing where Evelyn once hurled insults from across the property line. The HOA reformed. The community healed. My lake flourished. And Evelyn Blackthorne? 3 years in federal prison. 5 years probation. License revoked. Marriage over. Reputation annihilated. All because she couldn't stand the sight of a man fishing on his own land. So tell me, when someone in power crosses every line, poisons land, water, and community to control what was never theirs, at what point does standing up stop being a choice and start being a responsibility?